For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks so much for tuning in today at thescribbleshow.com, on iTunes, and on SoundCloud. This is Jeremy Bradley at the controls. Yeah, get your barf bag and whatever it is that he says. 24 episodes in and that never gets old, does it? So here's what we're doing today. We are celebrating anniversaries, okay? Well, sort of. Anniversary / birthday. I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. But the anniversary thing, let's get on to that. Do you remember the group All for One, the musical group? I remember that from when I was a teenager, right? I Can Love You Like That. I bet I can't sing anymore because we're going to have to pay for the music at that point. But you know the song. You've seen them. You've heard it. And probably at every wedding about, 10, 15 years ago. So anyway, they're celebrating 20 years together as a group. So we've got one of the guys from the group joining us on the show coming up in just a little bit to talk about 20 years of music. Like, things have changed big time in the music industry and even in music recording, right? With computers and social media and all that other stuff, it's a totally different world. So I like to ask this question of a group or artists that have been around for a long time. What do they think? Sometimes, older artists, let's say those in their 50s, 60s, 70s, find it fascinating that the internet is opening up so many new channels, but then you've got the artists who are money hungry, let's say, want the fame, want everybody to pay for their music all the time. They're threatened by it. And then you've got the even newer artists who just want a platform to be seen and heard and love YouTube and embrace social media. So there's several different elements there that we're going to talk about coming up when we get to our celeb spotting on the Scribble. And then we're going to talk about my birthday, because I just turned 33 a few days ago, and we have a special offer for you, dedicated Scribble listeners, for my books. So 33 is the key number there, and I'll tell you about that coming up in just a little bit. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break, and then we're going to hit the celebrity phone right after this.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Celeb spotting on the Scribble.
It's been 20 years since you grooved to their ballads. All for One is back and better than ever, and we've got Delius Kennedy from the group joining us on the line. Hello there.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great on this fine, hot day in Los Angeles.
Perfect. Well, you know what? I think it's crazy to think that 20 years has gone by, isn't it? I can only imagine for you how that must feel.
Man, it doesn't feel like 20 years at all. It feels like it was just yesterday, and I'm trying to stay young. I'm trying to stay, active to compete with all these young kids. But yeah, it feels like it was just yesterday when we started.
Well, it's crazy. So I'm doing some quick math here then. I just turned 33, so I was then, 13. But here's the deal. Still remember every word to songs like, I Swear, I Can Love You Like That. So that's saying something about your music then, isn't it? The fact that generations remember it all word for word, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. And, when we first started, we wanted to do songs that were like... of the moment songs, there were big songs like Rump Shaker and Whoop There It Is and all those clever songs. And our manager at the time was like, you know what, that's all nice and everything, but we need to make sure that you guys record career songs. Songs that will be around for the next 20 years that will allow you guys to keep working. And, we used to get mad. It's like, oh. But, in hindsight, he was exactly right. So, yeah.
Let's talk about that, though, because obviously the music industry has changed in a lot of ways. There's, the computerized technology and the social media element as well, right? Everybody's putting all their stuff out there online. True harmony, though, like you guys have in the group, very hard to find these days, isn't it? It seems.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to find on the radio. I think there are people on YouTube and stuff that are doing that and love that. But like you said, the music industry as far as radio has changed so much that it's hard for the mass audience to find that sort of thing, which is kind of sad because, if you look at it right now, there's not one group at the R&B group, guy or girl, that is on the radio right now.
Why do you think that is, though, right? Because if we appreciated that we appreciated that 20 years ago, so why do you think it is that it's not getting as much, front and center attention as it did back then? Like you're saying, you have to find these people on YouTube, but you've really got to search, right?
Yeah, you really have to search. I'm not exactly sure. I think there should be like some sort of panel with all the media conglomerates, the Clear channels and the CBS radios and all those, just to, somehow have some sort of talk about what's going on with the state of radio, because everything is so image-driven and so produced and polished that they're not really discovering, those superstars. I was having a conversation just the other day, and I was like, who are the big superstars of today? The Celine Dion, the Whitney Houston, the Luther Vandross that we had back in the day, and I couldn't really name any. I mean, we have Beyonce, and I think Bruno Mars is on his way. Outside that, I can't really think of who was that, telltale artist.
And see, then when I make comments or references to groups from back in the day, people call me old. But I think that's when music was the best, though, was, 10, 15 years ago before computers took over.
No, I agree. But then part of me also laughs as I'm getting older because I wonder if, my parents said the same thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember when Motown was this, and now all of a sudden, I wonder, am I just getting older? Or is that just the truth? I tend to think that's the truth because everything is computerized and everything, record labels don't really develop artists anymore. You get one or two singles, you better hope they hit and do very well before they're on to the next, artist.
Let's talk about that then over 20 years because obviously, people go through changes in life. You might get married, you might have kids, you might have, whatever could happen. So when it comes to songwriting and when it comes to how you put your life into your music, have you grown? Have you changed? What's developed over the last 20 years?
Over the last 20 years, I think, we've obviously grown tighter as a group. We're a pretty tight-knit group as it is, which is one of the reasons why we stayed together with the four original members for so long. But like our new album, 20 Plus, we tried to grow, and we tried to give you what you love about All for One. So you'll have the types of songs that are I Swear or So Much to Love, the acapella stuff. You have a little bit of the R&B, and then, we try a little something different with some of the up-tempos and just, just try to expand the audience as well.
What's your favorite song on the album?
Oh, man, it's so tough. Jamie would always say it's like choosing your favorite child.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple of favorites on the record. Now That We're Together is one of my absolute favorites on the record. The acapella, because we just love singing acapella, Save It All For Me is a good one. And then Chariot is also one of my favorites.
So speaking of favorites, you guys, over the course of the 20 years, you've toured really all over the world, haven't you? I want to know which of your songs gets the biggest reaction from crowds at a show. Like, does it depend on the country? Because I've heard that audiences, like in Asia, are different than in North America. So what do you experience when it comes to your fan favorites?
Yeah, there are definitely, obviously the big hits get big reactions, like I Swear and I Can Love You Like That and So Much in Love. But then also in different regions, Someday from the Hunchback of Notre Dame gets a lot of attention. A song that was only released overseas, but was on our On and On record, was called Smile Like Mona Lisa. Throughout Indonesia and Korea and all that, they love that song. I Will Be Right Here is another one that was on on a soundtrack that goes over there. So it just depends. There's different regions have different singles at the time. We always try to find out what singles were in this region so we know which ones to put in the concert.
And I imagine, too, it's got to be really gratifying because you've got, like, let's say my generation and then people my age are having kids. And, the parents are passing that music down. So you've got teenagers now that know your music and love that. I mean, that's pretty cool, too, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really weird sometimes that our audience sometimes gets younger. And we're always like, you couldn't have been born. This song came out. And it's exactly like you said. Their parents had the record, or their brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters had it and passed it down, and they became fans.
Now, you guys have a whole bunch of shows coming up. I guess the concert dates are on your website then, right?
Yes, allforone.com, number 4, all-4ONE.com.
All right, we'll be sure to check it out. Well, Delius Kennedy from All for One, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you can make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? Yes. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, you can make almost twice as much. Going back to college is now easier than ever. There are select online colleges that provide laptops to their students. In fact, there are thousands of college programs on your laptop. You can go to college anywhere and everywhere right from a laptop. Call My College Laptop, and you can find hundreds of programs from accredited colleges and universities nationwide. Start a new career in law enforcement, business, information technology, healthcare, and hundreds of others. Call My College Laptop to find an online college that will provide you with a laptop. In no time at all, you could double your earning potential. Double your earning potential. Call now. 800-928-1811. That's 800-928-1811. 800-928-1811.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Cheapskate Checkpoint on the Scribble. Brought to you by cheapskatebook.com. If you're a stupid spender, become a genius saver at cheapskatebook.com. Here's best-selling tight-ass Jeremy Bradley.
You freak.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Great to hear from All for One. It was just a few weeks ago that we had the boy band and the girl band thing, right? Remember it was Howie D from Backstreet Boys, Mel B from the Spice Girls, one of the Hanson guys. Who was it again? That's really embarrassing. One of the Hanson guys. We had our clips from Nick Lachey when he's been on the show. So it's really great that these groups are, I guess some of them are still around, right? All for One, didn't really break up, they say, but they really didn't release any new albums or music for quite some time. Whereas you had some of the boy band, Spice Girls did break up. They got together for the Olympics. And now Mel B is actually talking about wanting to get the girls together again now that they're approaching 60 or however old they are. I'm kidding. Love the Spice Girls. Favorite group when I was like 13 years old. Not kidding. So it's certainly it's interesting to hear how far they've come and where they're at now. So thanks to All for One and all the other celebrities that we've had on the show. Now, 13 years old, so that was how old I was when All for One was formed. I just turned 33. I mentioned that at the top of the show. So we are doing something special for all of you listeners and readers out there. I'm not much of a reader myself because I was an editor at a publishing company years ago, and I can't enjoy reading anymore because I pick up something and I dissect the sentences, the grammar, I move things around, and I basically rewrite anything that I read. So I do like writing, and I've written a few books. And what we do on our website, speakfreebooks.com, is we've got these different promo codes and the ways that you can save money, because one of the books is about saving money. So what we have at speakfreebooks.com for the entire month of August, that's August 2015, depending on when you're listening to this, a 33% discount on your first book purchase, then you're getting a 66% discount on the second book for your order, and then a 99% discount on book number 3. That is a crazy deal. So it's speakfreebooks.com, or you can go to cheapskatebook.com or putdownyourdamnphone.com. All of those will take you to the same page. And use the promo or the coupon code BDAY33, BDAY 33. That'll apply the 33% discount on your first book. Now, what will happen is you'll get an email within 24 hours telling you the promo code for the 66% off book, okay? And then when it matches your email address, you'll get a third email telling you the 99% off coupon code. That's a pretty huge deal. Normally, you'll get like the buy one, get one. We're 99% off. Come on, seriously. That's like getting the third book free. So that's at speakfreebooks.com. And again, the details are on the website as well. So speakfreebooks.com or cheapskatebook.com or putdownyourdamnphone.com. And, the Cheapskate book, I've got to tell you, the reason that I wrote that several years ago, well, more than I bought a house 7.5 years ago, and at that point you have a new appreciation for every penny that you have, right? Because I wasn't living under mom and dad's roof anymore. I didn't leave the lights on and the TV on and the water running like crazy because now I was having to pay the bills. So that was when I first moved in, I had every TV channel known to man. Even though I don't watch movies, I'm not a movie person at all. Still had about 20-25 movie channels. Because it's the novelty, right? That's something that you get when you first move out and you have your own place. So very quickly I learned that it's not worth it to have all these things that you're not using. So I started finding ways to cut costs and corners and have a little bit of fun saving money. So the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, is not really anything about drastic things that you can do. It's just little creative things that you can do throughout the day, throughout the year, at home, if you're traveling even. There's a whole section on vacations. People ask me about that all the time, ways to get cheap flights and hotel deals and things like that. So, some of the examples, as we've talked actually about here on the Scribble, is just little things like when you're grocery shopping. You know what I do, and write this one down, I'm giving you this a freebie, is I will only grocery shop when my cupboards and fridge are pretty much empty. And the reason I do that is because, there's so many things that you buy that you didn't really need or even want. Maybe you want it in the store in the moment, but then you get it home and you're just like, why did I buy this? So that's my way of punishing myself and going, no. You paid for this. It's in the cupboard. You're eating it. Because it's very easy to just go and say, I'm just going to order a pizza tonight. Oh, I'm just going to go to the store and get a bunch of other things. No. I will not grocery shop until I have every little bit. And yes, it's the can of soup that I bought that I didn't know. I have to have that before I'll go and do more grocery shopping. It's just one of those things because it'll save you money, right? You're going and buying even more groceries when you're not having the stuff that you already have at home. So that's one of the tips that I do. But also when it comes to things like, getting a shopping cart, well, you know what? Get a basket. Or one of the better things that I like to do, only get as much as you can carry. First off, you're getting exercise. And two, you're not likely to buy as much stuff then because you're limiting yourself as to how much you can transport from the back of the store up to the checkout line. So there's a few of the tips that I'm telling you that are in the book. So you can go to cheapskatebook.com or speakfreebooks.com. Use that coupon code BDAY33 and save money. I'm even saving you money on a book about saving money. Come on. It doesn't get any better than that. Does it? No, it doesn't. All right, we're going to take another break. I'm going to tell you about one of the other books that I wrote that is getting a lot of attention from people because it's about your addictive cell phone use. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about your teenage son. I'm talking about your teenage daughter, your grandson, whoever it is, your coworker who never listens in the meeting because they're sitting there playing with their phone. The book is about them. I'll tell you about that coming up in just a little bit. Back in a second.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Scribble Dribble brought to you by SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Thank you. Check out syndicated newspaper columnist Jeremy Bradley's rants and raves in his weekly news and entertainment columns. Yay. That's at SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Since he's paid to not shut up, God knows why. Once again, Jeremy Bradley.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Thanks so much for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com, on SoundCloud, and on iTunes. Celebrating anniversaries today, we had All for One celebrating their 20th anniversary earlier in the show, and then my 33rd, I guess it's an anniversary birthday, sort of same thing, my 33rd birthday with our book promotion that I just talked about in the last segment at speakfreebooks.com. You can use that coupon code BDAY33, BDAY 33. Just before the break, I talked about my new book about it's cell phone use, right? It's that addiction to cell phones. You just can't put it down. You just can't get rid of it. That's why the book is called Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. And I have to tell you, I have spoken at different events. I've hosted different things. I had the best response for this book. I spoke to a seniors group, and it was in January. And I had taken the Cheapskate book, actually, because that's why I was there. I was talking about, tips from the book and how I wrote that. These women just loved all of the ideas in it. And I thought, I'm not going to talk about Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. Sure enough, they introduced that, or they mentioned it in my intro. And everybody, when there was question period at the end, everybody was asking about this book. So I thought, you know what? I actually brought some of them with me when I was there. We were selling the Cheapskate book, and I thought this wasn't a crowd that was going to want to buy the phone book. And sure enough, that one sold out quicker than Cheapskate. They both sold out. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. But Put Down Your Damn Phone Already, because these people were relating... I'm having a stroke. These people were relating to their grandkids. Because you're trying to have, let's say, Christmas dinner, or you're trying to have whatever sort of function, a family get-together, and the kids just aren't listening. But it's not even necessarily the kids. It's the adults that are plopping the phone down on the table right beside them. So it was fascinating to talk with these older women, and they were getting the books, and they were giving it to their teenage grandkids, or whoever it was in their life. And so that's where I say that this book is... Two kinds of people are going to like this book. The ones who are addicted to the phone and can't put it down and are going to have a laugh at themselves. And then the other one where it's the people who mock and laugh at those people who can't put down their phone and never leave the room without it. And so there's a bunch of stories in there about having company, and the people are paying more attention to their phone than to you. So what I've done in the past is I've actually taken the person's phone, and I've even seen it that they're leaving the room and even look back to make sure that, oh, did I leave the phone or am I bringing it with me? I don't really recall. That's how sad it is, and that's not saying anything about the type of company that I am, because, I never stop talking, so I'll just interrupt you and annoy the hell out of you while you're trying to be on your phone. So I was traveling a couple weeks ago. Remember when we did the Dawson City Music Festival? A long, long journey. I had to go from central Canada to the west coast and then up to... We were about an hour away from Alaska, is where Dawson City, Yukon is. And in the airport, I had just landed in Vancouver, turned on my phone because I had about 3 hours to kill, so I was going to do some work. And all of a sudden I get this tweet from a woman, actually from Winnipeg, my hometown. She thanked me for writing the book because it's long overdue. It's a commentary about people's obsession with their phones. And it was quite funny, the irony being that just as I was turning on my phone and getting into the airport, I was almost crashed into by 3 different people, and guess what they were doing? Head down on their phone. So the irony of me, one, looking at my phone at the same time that I'm reading a tweet telling me, congratulations for writing this book, that I was also almost run into and run down by these 3 people in the airport. So one of the sections in the book is about air travel, or when you're traveling. So you've got people who, if your airport doesn't have a charging station, first off, you're screwed, because you're going to have people running around looking for plugs, right? It's not uncommon in a dumpy little airport to see people. There could be a big plush sofa, nice comfy furniture, but not a plug nearby. You're going to have somebody sitting on the floor so they can charge their phone or computer, whatever it is. That's just how desperate it is. And, you've got these people that have their own little battery packs so that when your phone dies, you can plug it into this thing and it'll power up for you. But But again, if you just turn off the phone and leave it alone for a little while, you'll be fine. But the best part is, though, you've got the people on the airplane, once you've boarded, you've got the people who will rush. They want to be first to board so they can sit there and have a little bit more phone time, right? They don't want to have to wait in line to get on the plane. But then there's the ones, like if they've got the aisle seat and you have the window, they're like not even acknowledging that you're standing. They can't even see you. They don't even know that you're there because they're so glued to their phone that you almost have to like hit their knee or tap them. Maybe you should even just like text them, find out who they are, Bluetooth them, or whatever you have to do. And then they'll reluctantly, sometimes not even look away from their phone to unbuckle, stand up, move out so that you can move in and then have a seat. I've experienced that about maybe 4 times, where the person maybe just sees my feet pointing towards them and realizes that somebody is standing waiting to get into the row, and then they've got to get up, and then you get that groan. Then there's also the announcement that, you've got to turn off because we're leaving the terminal, we're about to take off, put away your phones. And again, you have the people that don't do it. And they'll tuck it under their thigh. You know the people I'm talking about. You've probably even done it yourself. And I'll admit that I have as well. And nobody ever tells, right? Because as passengers, you kind of all feel like you're a group now, right? Because we all have to follow the same crummy rule that nobody really likes. And then you wait until the coast is clear, until the flight attendant already walks by and is seated, so that you just pull out your phone and you do more, right? But there's celebrities and people are getting arrested, right? One of the Baldwins, we've got a story in the book about how, he was belligerent and he refused to turn off his phone because, do you know who I am, sort of a deal. It's a 2-hour, 3-hour flight, 4 hours, depending on where you're going. You're fine. But the planes even have Wi-Fi now. There's even Wi-Fi on the plane, so you really don't have to be that disconnected from it. Really, you don't. So anyway, that's what's in the book, Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. The website, putdownyourdamnphone.com. Once more, speakfreebooks.com. And you can get it on Amazon and iTunes and all those other places. But remember, our promotion is only available at speakfreebooks.com. And that is B-Day 33. And you can get a 33% discount on this book, or get the 33% discount on this book and then 66% on the Cheapskate book. Feel better about saving more on the money-saving book, just so we're clear on that one. All right. So again, Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. Would love for you to check that out and tweet me with your thoughts on the book, because again, everybody's got an opinion about cell phone use because it's just becoming obnoxious. And what's even crazier though is that your phones are getting bigger. If you remember, it was maybe 5 years ago, not quite 10 years ago, where you wanted your phone to get smaller. We have a picture, we've got a promotional picture that I've got 3 phones in the palm of my hand, 3 of my previous phones that I used to use. 3 of those. Now they're the size of a scientific calculator. And students right now, teenagers now are like, what's a scientific calculator? I just used my phone. Exactly. But now they're the size of a remote control or a, I don't know what it is. Is it Samsung? That's a giant. It almost looks like a shoebox. That's how rectangular this thing is. But yeah, certainly phones are, they're taking over your life. They're taking over your pocket. Again, at the airport, there's a story in the book where one of the workers from the airline, all of a sudden her boob started vibrating. She was jiggling. And then she's digging around. She's got her phone in her bra. Is that really where you carry it now? Ladies, I want to hear from the ladies on this one. Tweet me, email me. My email address, jb@jbonair.com, or on Twitter. We're at The Scribble Show on Twitter, in case you haven't heard all of those promos. But yeah, sticking your phone in your bra. Do you flip it under your boob? Is it wedged in the side? Is it under your armpit? I don't know, ladies. Tell me. And I was tempted to ask, because, but then I'm going to get charged with something, and I'm, it's crossing the line. A guy can't ask a girl that. A girl could ask another girl that, but I wouldn't be able to. I'd get pepper sprayed or slapped in the face. So again, speakfreebooks.com. Take advantage of that promotion. One more break, and we're back right after this.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Almost out of time, but one more quick story. So, of course, I was talking about my birthday a few days ago. My parents took me out for dinner. Now, of course, we had to go to the casino because that's their home away from home. They're there 3, 8, 9, 15 times a week. I haven't gone there in about 6 months. My mom pointed out a guy who was just feeding the slot machine literally $50 and $100 bills. We figured in about 10 to 15 minutes, he put in $250. Blown, gone, done. without even blinking, without even flinching. I would have been clutching my chest and gasping for air. I wrote the frickin' book about saving money and being cheap. The casino, I spent $5, ladies and gentlemen. That's how much I gambled. But it was because I had won on lottery tickets that I got at Christmas, and I cashed those in. I didn't even use my own money. We're back next week with some more great chatter. We're going to hopefully talk about the Caitlyn Jenner thing because everybody's buzzing about I Am Kate. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Goodbye now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your